Okay, so today I was trying to think of how we could get together our smelting and try to get something put together for it. I've got some minerals and materials that we can test with, and I've been claiming and working on a whole bunch of create stuff to help make this easier. So I was trying to find other mods that we could use to make this work. Trying to do something a little bit more broad than just use one mod to do everything, but I'm actually having a hard time finding any alternatives that don't require a bunch of electrical stuff yet, and I'm not trying to procrastinate necessarily, but I definitely don't want to jump right into it yet. Definitely trying to hold off a little bit. So yeah, for now, I think we're probably going to go with create and just stick with it from there. Um, I'm thinking that what we can do is get into, there's a millstone recipe that will give us a quest achievement, and then I'd like to see about getting possibly into, I can't remember which one I wanted, getting possibly into using encased fans to do a lot of our smelting for us. That way it's still free, it's still automated. It'll be pretty cool. Now the millstone, if you think of the giant tumbling crushing wheels we have over there, this is like a miniature version. It's a very small version that can do a subset of the recipes that our big guy can do. There's a reason that this guy is low on the totem pole, and that's because it can't do much. It's mostly just for like flour processing, and I think you can mill wheat and stuff. So it's pretty low key. There's nothing you can really do here to um, improve your setup all that much, except for some slight ore processing. But it's pretty bare bones as compared to the crushing wheels. And you can see that. I mean, we got the crushing wheel work done in about a day of Minecraft Let's Play stuff, so that wasn't too bad. Tree fertilizer. Forgot that that existed even. I will put you over here. So then, looking through the quest, we want to see about the encased fan, and I think that this is actually the right move to make anyways. I have to thoroughly agree with this being the next step for us. So let's go ahead and use our engineer's hammer to crush down 4 iron plates, and now we can use that to get ourselves the actual spinning propeller mechanism for this, and then we're also going to need 2 cogwheels, andesite casing, and a shaft. Andesite casing, 2 cogwheels, and a shaft. And that gets us an encased fan, and it also gets us another achievement. Now, if we look for manual, what is it that I'm thinking of? There's a thing in Create that I can show you so we can test things on a smaller scale before trying to find a place to hook them up to, and I'm trying to remember what that's called. Ah, here we go. The hand crank. So this guy, also pretty affordable. This is kind of meant to be your early game. I have nothing else to do here, so may as well test this out kind of processing, but it actually has its purposes as well. It's pretty cool. Oh, I had the recipe flipped. My bad. So if we place down this guy, in fact, I'm going to place it down this way, and we put a hand crank on it, you're going to see, not much. Maybe we should do it this way. You're going to see that this is going to possibly cause, I think this is what I needed to do. Yep, so you're going to see a couple of little smoky particles over here. So if I toss down some andesite alloy and I start spinning this, you see that andesite alloy is going to get pulled in, and that's because I'm spinning counterclockwise. If I sneak and I do use this hand crank, I'll spin it clockwise, and that's going to push it away from us, and you can see it works both ways. We can use this as a means for item transfer, but of course we have conveyor belts, which are much more fast and fun. But you can use these in front of something like a lava source to get yourself a fiery fan, basically one which can be used to smelt things instead. So let me grab some lava. I'm trying to remember where would even be the best place for that. I think I've got diamond mines here, and if I go backwards, that's forwards. I always mine with my torches on the left when I do a strip mine like this. I wanted to steal this back because we have a better mine shaft anyway. It's further down. All right, so with lava, we can now use this to do even more cool stuff. So let me grab some relatively fireproof blocks. We've got this connected white stained glass. And if I were to maybe go up here on the mountain where it's a little bit less flammable, trying to see if there's a good place over here that's not going to immediately burst into flames when I put lava down. Maybe, oh, over here would be perfect, actually. So, we put the encased fan down, and we put this here, and I'm actually going to, whoops, I'm specifically going to break this cobblestone, and the reason is because I want to use it to test. And we're also, realize now, we're probably going to want a pressure plate of some sort. So I may yoink a piece of wood from this tree. And the reason we want the pressure plate is the fan will not just blow through anything. It has to have, you know, a space to blow stuff through. So if I just put a solid block here where I'm going to encase this lava, then the fan's just going to blow all the things away. So hopefully that pressure plate doesn't do the bad thing. Oh, and I'm also going to put a piece of glass right here. That way, as I run the fan, it doesn't blow away. So if I sit here and run this, you're going to see the little smoking particles over there on those cobblestone. And they smelted. Just like that. Completely free of charge. Didn't cost me anything. I just sat there and ran a lever. Now, obviously, we have the means to make this work without me running a lever. We have rotational energy already, and quite a bit of it, if I may say so myself. So it probably would be wise to set something up exactly like this that automatically feeds things through with conveyor belts, and then proceeds to use those in order to fully smelt things out. So I'm thinking that's the move. I'm also noticing that my inventory is uneven. It's an even shape, so that kind of upsets me. Anyways, so yeah, let's look at how we can do this, because you notice it took some time. So if we want to run a conveyor belt past this, we're going to need to time that out as well. So let me take a look at this. I may do a little bit of the timing off camera, but let's get the premise of the setup real quick. Okay, so taking a look here, I think we have pretty much everything we need. I just need to grab a couple of the conveyor belts that we have, or rather these yep, these mechanical belts. We already had an extra encased fan. I think that was probably some sort of loot reward at some point. I honestly don't know. Let's grab gearboxes and some cogwheels in case we need to rotate some energy, because you just never know. I think this should be enough to get us started with something basic. Now, what I'm thinking about is if we grab, may end up needing, let me go and just to be safe, grab an extra couple of these. I can't remember what else you need for these. Let's see. It's, oh, okay. So yeah, let's grab maybe 3 more. Yep, sounds good. And on that note, let's grab some more of these as well, just in case. Okay, so what I was thinking is over here we have our windmill, and we have the shaft around it. So I'm thinking that maybe what we can do is we have this one that goes up and down. I just noticed that this can act as a pickaxe. That blows my mind. If we take this one here, if we put it this way, then we have energy going all 4 cardinal directions, which I think is ideal. I think that's where we're going to want to have things. Because I was thinking in my head that we could probably put smelting over here. So let's keep that there. I'm going to fill this in to the best of my ability, at least. And then maybe over here we'll have is the cogwheel work. I'm going to go into crouch mode like this. That way I don't destroy the gravel up top. We'll just put it perfectly like that. And then run some shafts down this way. And now we have space to work. So here's what we're going to need. We're going to need 2 encased fans. They're going to need to be put closely together, close enough together at least. We're going to need a conveyor belt at that level. So roughly like maybe from here to here. And so if we have a conveyor belt from here to here, the reason I want it on this level is because items will sit on top. I think that's the correct logic. I actually, let me verify before I get all the way into that. And so then we'll want our rotational energy around the back as well. I believe we can just do this and then a cogwheel. Like so. Perhaps. You know, I should have brought... Let me go get the hand crank. I think that would have been very helpful to have for this, just for testing, to see how this is going to work out. So we grab that. And this way we can also work on making ourselves like a single point of mechanical rotational force entry. That way I don't want to have like 9 different cutoffs. Like I want to have one part where we insert this rotational power down here, and that's it. So I want to test and see, like maybe if we did this, we can do... Put a gear, nope. We can put a cog here. There we go. Which will allow us to have that there, which we can then use a belt across here. Put a belt across here. And we can, again, I'm just currently testing. I don't for sure know that this is exactly how this needs to be run. And I'm going to scoot these back a little bit, because I don't know for sure. Don't think this is enough space. So we'll do that instead, and we'll have dirt for now. Obviously, that would not be the desirable end goal. And while you don't need 2 buckets, so I'm not going to use both of them for testing, when this is all said and done, I probably will. And so now, if I were to insert this crank here, that's going to blow fire. Perfect. And it's probably going to be just slow enough if I do it... Oops. If I do it using the rotational force we already have, it's going to be pretty slow, which is, surprisingly enough, actually kind of what we want. I know it seems very counterintuitive to think that way, but that's... What we want is something pretty slow. Because if it's too fast, then our fans won't have the ability to keep up with the... Like, they can't heat any faster, really. So if we do this, and then that. These belts are very helpful, by the way. And so then in testing, I actually didn't bring anything to test with, so I need to do that. See, I'll probably just grab a stack of stone or something. Well, I've got this. Let's take the osmium and crush that in our little crushing wheels, and then let's see how that goes once we have that crushed. As far as like what speed we might want to tweak. We may need the fans to blow harder in the end. Again, I'm not certain on that factor. I'm gonna fill in this for now. I think the logic there is pretty sound as far as the belts and the rotation that we have running here. And I'll go ahead and that. And I have an infinite water source on me at all times, so that's very helpful. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got as an output. If I threw a stack onto here, Only one of these is smelting. That makes sense. But that is the right height. Okay, so this guy right here does not need... This is a bit trickier, but not actually that much worse. We will once again need to use belts. You're blowing, and if I do this, we'll also blow. Belts are just so helpful for things like this, and honestly, this gear here is doing nothing for us. So we can probably simplify this even further. So we know we want that. We probably want something there as well. So if we did this instead, I think we'd have slightly better luck. Okay, there we go. And now, if we toss this down, ideally, I want to be able to smelt a stack of things at a time, if I can. If I can't, that's okay, we'll figure something out. But I should be able to. There's not really any reason why I can't make this performant enough to make that work. And you know, the answer may end up being to make another encased fan to do it one more time. And if that's the case, then that's the case. I'm trying to think. Oh, there is one more thing. There's the encased belt. Is it called the encased shaft chain drive? Is that it? Yeah, this is it. These are also pretty useful. Yep, so I think this is probably the move, is to use these instead. So let's grab a couple of those, and let's see how we can kind of simplify this. Maybe grab one more encased fan as well. I think that may also help pretty significantly. Okay, this actually didn't take long. I'm kind of making this messy, but that's okay because I planned on enclosing this anyways, at least to some degree. And I don't want... The problem here is I don't want the belt to go any faster. I want the fans to go faster. Now, I just ran into the problem that I was kind of explaining previously, where now they're sucking in air instead of blowing out hot air. So what we can do here is we can use a gearbox to reverse the rotation of energy, because the way the gearbox works is it's like a series of 4 gears all alongside each other. So like imagine a block that was like this, except they were all right next to each other. So you can see how that rotational energy is going to rotate a little bit more interestingly. Okay, so now that they're blowing outward instead of sucking inward, let's try again. And they are blowing significantly faster. No dice. Okay, well, I don't know if speed at this point can really help us. I'm going to try a little bit more, and if that does not work, then we'll come up with something. Again, I'm not terribly frightened that this isn't going to work, but let me see what I can do. Okay, so it seems as though there may or may not have been an error, and by may or may not, I mean absolutely was an error with my recordings, and the audio was broken. I sincerely apologize, but really it's probably a good thing, because I just sat there and fumbled around for a very long time, trying to get this to work. Essentially what we ended up going for was a slightly slower conveyor belt, and 5 in total of these guys, and we used modular routers, which I will show you now, to control exactly how many items get put out at one time. So if I give it some strange interval of items, let's say if I'm going to take this cobblestone here. If I took this and threw in 17, We know we can smelt 32 at a time, so if I throw in 17, it will smelt those 17. It doesn't have to have 32. However, if I threw in, let's say I had those back, which I don't, so let's go find something else to smelt. If I had more of them, like if I had 33, for example, which we'll go grab that, those 33 will be broken up into one conveyor of 32 and then another conveyor of 1. So I just wanted to demonstrate that, and I'll show you exactly how I did that with modular routers. And I was thinking about doing voiceover, but honestly, I really did spend a long time futzing with this, and it was kind of not great. So if I give it 33, you see 33 went in, and that leaves 32 and then 1. And that works out oh so perfectly. And then if I did like 30... trying to think of exactly the best way to do that. Oh, it looks like that one already smelted, and then those other 32 did. And if I'd given it some other bigger interval, it can sort through those as well. And so the way we're doing it is with the modular router. We have a stack upgrade. This allows us to pull in whole stacks at a time, because we have 6 of them, which is the maximum amount. And we have a puller module. That's how I'm getting things out of this chest. And it's just configured to pull out anything. It doesn't care. And then the sender module is configured with a regulator augment. And this regulator augment is set to be 32. So that's how we got that set up. And so far, so good. It looks like it's working just fine. I haven't really run into any weird edge cases yet. If I do, we'll figure out how to work around that. But, you know, this is just kind of a early tech game, or early low-tech solution for this, so I'm not too terribly concerned if it doesn't work out. But anyways, I do clearly still have a lot of decoration to do on this, so I'm going to get that done real quick, and I'll come back as soon as I do. Really quickly, just as I was about to tear all this stuff down, I realized I should probably go ahead and get myself a nice pickaxe with silk touch on it. That way I am not at risk of having to possibly lose all of the glass that I just made. So let's go ahead and get that taken care of real quick. I thought it would be nice to have maybe silk touch as my primary, as well as I believe I have a couple of other really good ones around here somewhere. Mending, silk touch, and if I have like unbreaking and efficiency, that would be nice. So you can do unbreaking like so, unbreaking 5, or unbreaking 4. I'm going to go with 5 because this is silk touch, so we're not going to get XP back. And then let's do efficiency. Like I have efficiency 3. Honestly, that's perfectly satisfying to me. I could also make this a Paxel, I believe. That could be worth considering. Can I? Yeah, I can. I don't know why it doesn't show that up in the... oh, it does. It's right there. So we could do that. I did consider that as an option. Maybe we could try that. I don't really like all-in-one tools though, so I'll probably not. I think I'm gonna pass. Anyways, just wanted to kind of pick these out and show you how that goes. So we'll do efficiency 3. Let me grab this guy real quick. I want to make sure we're as efficient as possible. I know it's just a few levels, but still. So efficiency, unbreaking 6. Mending, and silk touch. And this will probably be my daily driver at this point. I think I'm going to reorganize my things as well and put the axe here since it's my sword as well. And we'll just keep the pickaxe here. Looks good to me. Okay, so I worked on this a little bit more. I think this looks substantially better. I had to go with something a little more... I don't know, a little more smeltery styled, I guess you could call it, but it also fits in with the palette we've got for this section pretty nicely too. And I know it's a roughly vanilla palette, but it works. I mean, so looking at this, I think we've got everything settled here. I actually really am happy with how I handled some of the gear work back here, especially with the mechanical belt coming up. And I think there's just enough texture throughout that it's fine. I think it's totally fine. So, my only other thoughts on this would be maybe to do that. Yeah, I think that might be the only other thing I can think of to do with it, and then that makes the little area here, these walls, it gets it a little more texture inside rather than it being completely flat. So I think I like that quite a lot, and with that, honestly, there's been a whole lot of good stuff happening in this episode anyway. We've already gotten everything settled in, we've got ourselves a nice new pickaxe, which has been here for everything for the like couple of minutes for grabbing glass and stuff, so it's been super useful. Anyways, I think that calls it for an episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.